Hey, welcome back everybody to SharePoint TV. So we're joined today by Adam Harmetz. Adam, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, well, my name's Adam. I've been with SharePoint for 14 years. I was
Long
supposed
time.
to be here for one, and then 13 years tacked onto that. Worked on most areas of SharePoint. Now I run basically the user experience product management across biz apps, team sites, comm sites, developer platform, content services.
Wow, so we've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, let's get started.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start. It's been a long week. It's been 3 days, but it's been a very long 3 days.
Yeah, well, you've been putting this together almost. Yeah. The conference was on your shoulders. You did an awesome job.
Oh, thank you. It's I'm glad it's almost over, so I can breathe. But from the keynote all the way until today, and we've still got sessions going on as we speak, and we've got an Ask Me Anything.
Yep.
At the end of the day today, we're hoping those in Vegas can attend and bring your great questions. But really, the energy has seemed to be pretty high from the keynote all the way now to the tail end of the event. And even looking at the keynote itself, it was one of those keynotes to where there wasn't an ebb and flow. It was just announcement after announcement after announcement. There was a couple that struck the audience that were kind of the proverbial mic drop moments. I'd try, but then
that would
not only can you not maybe hear me, but or see me, you might not be able to hear me. But a couple of the big ones, attendees were really excited about site URL rename.
Yep.
Something that just seems benign because there's nothing at the top of the stack to really represent what it is. It's just you click a button, you give it your name, and
we own a website product. We should be able to do these fundamental things like change the URL of your website.
Exactly. And then home sites, and your team is responsible for that.
Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to get a couple of things from you on home sites. Is one, everybody's kind of seen what they are, and heard about them through the keynote and through other sessions throughout the week. But why?
Yeah.
Why home sites?
Yeah. No, it's a good question. So, let's see. To a certain degree, home sites are really sort of a culmination of the last 3 years of work since the May the 4th event in 2016.
May the 4th be with you.
There we go. Where we sort of talked about the future of SharePoint and announced the modern SharePoint, and we knew we had a lot of work to do. The vision was always that any portal or any website that you need for your intranet could be modeled as a modern site. But I think home sites really announces that we've seen a lot of successful customers that have done that, and it's time to create a template and time to sort of wire up that final mile. We couldn't have shipped home sites. We could have shipped home sites 3 years ago if we didn't want to build a content management system that was completely flexible behind it. We could have, would have just been an app, but we decided to sort of take our time, build a mobile app, build a modern content management system with all the features, the system features of portals that people would need. And now is the time where we really like, hey, let's sort of wire it up to that final mile to be the root of your tenant to help with wayfinding across everything. We know that almost every customer who designs an intranet has a root. And then we did a couple of the glue stuff that you'd expect, where you can wire it up to the navigation and the suite nav like you'd expect. So that was really the why behind it. I think we're entering a stage where we have some amount of maturity in modern. Certainly the adoption is showing it, but we can make it easier. We can have the time to value increase or get better, whatever. Personalization's
a big part of it. I know that was really exciting for everybody because it just wasn't static. And that's kind of what for a lot of people's intranets, they're very static. And static tends to kind of dissuade people from visiting it at any degree of frequency because they know it's going to be there tomorrow. And they're not getting fresh, contextually relevant information delivered to them. Was that kind of the intent to just keep it dynamic, keep people coming back, engage?
No, absolutely. I don't think any website that has the same content on it for years is going to get the engagement anybody's looking for.
I've seen a lot that are. Intranets.
But really it sort of goes to the large, like we've been working for almost a decade on the Microsoft Graph, which is our signals processing sort of substrate that really is not a product-centric view of the world and not an authoring-centric view of the world. It's a person-centric view. There are people and groups and nodes and connections between them. And really home sites are a manifestation of that because that's how we make it personalized. And that when you really think about the future strategy of Microsoft, it's going to start with that people-centric view in the graph, and then how all the apps and services connect together around it to make that happen. I mean, can't understate the thousands of engineers that have been working a lot to make that happen, and it's really just now that we're seeing the payoff in product from that investment. Before it was, some proof of life scenarios, and now we're really seeing the run state of the Microsoft graph, which I think is going to be an interesting couple of years.
I think so. I definitely agree there. And I've already seen blogs on home sites.
Oh, good.
From the community. There's probably at least 15 of them out there.
Cool.
People already talking about it, how they're going to use them, what their thoughts and opinions are. So it's really cool.
Home site versus hub site versus com site.
Exactly. I've seen
exposed.
Yeah, I saw one blog title that said Homify, Hubify, or Teamify.
And there we go. Yeah.
So
there's Swapify in there. We have.
Yeah, so we have quite a few, so it's going to be interesting to see those things just continue to come along. So that was a really interesting one. Obviously, site URL change was a big one. There was a number of others. Everybody continues to adore spaces.
Yeah.
And there's just want. I want. I walked through the expo hall. And just, there at times there's just a line of people just waiting to put on a headset and experience it. But it's great to see, the progress that we've made. Yeah. And I think people that were here last year versus the people, that returned this year, and they saw the progress. So they, saw some of the new layouts and some of the new things you can do. The improvements and just adding some ambiance with sound.
Last year we really had a proof of life. We sort of needed to lock the scenario way early and then build something to that scenario just to show its potential. And I think we learned a lot from talking with customers in the private preview. And now that we have, frankly, a rich editing canvas for 3D, where we can sort of rapidly dream with customers of what they need, I think we're able to communicate what it's going to be used for, what we hope it's going to be used for, a lot more easily. And that's what I heard. I did 3 hours of Spaces booth duty, and so I got to hear how people reacted. And universally, it was like, I got, last year there was a lot of tents. I thought that was cool, but I didn't totally get how to use it. But now the scenarios that you have seem to crystallize. Okay, I'd see how I would use this in my org. Which is,
it's really cool. Lots of customer feedback. Working with private preview customers has helped kind of establish, that set of scenarios and those, changes from a whole bunch of tents and bicycles and skis. Lots of skis. So one of the other things is you brought a good portion of your team down here.
About 80% or so, maybe a little more.
So just your thoughts overall, because you've been at the event now for several days. Obviously, before the keynote, and here we are, towards the back end of the week. How have you felt so far, just from the opportunity? That being here with customers is.
Yeah, it's always energizing. It's so cool to walk the showroom floor and just see. Frankly, all the economic value created by the work we do, which is super gratifying, and then just to talk with customers all week about what they want to do, and it definitely reminds me of some of the previous generations of SharePoint, where there's just a lot of questions. How do I use taxonomy here? And what my hub site should be configured? And thank you for increasing the limit of hub sites, and those sort of really detailed questions. That makes me think that people are really digging in and trying to implement. Like sometimes you have conferences where they're your early stage and you're just people are trying to get what your strategy is. I don't think that was one of these conferences. I think people are looking for durability and strategy. New investments and new announcements and but not a new strategy understand. Instead, they're deep in the implementation. They want our help and best practice and guidance. And I felt like there was a lot more of that, which feels great to me. That's what we.
Which is great.
That's what we envisioned. We wanted to be at this stage. So.
That's perfect. One of the other things that we had talked about, we just talked a couple of hours ago with Caruana, is, and I know you were involved as well, is our diversity and inclusion track, which was last year. That was particularly important to me. That this event have one, and I think we were one of the first events that actually dedicated an entire track last year to diversity and inclusion. Then we expanded upon that this year, and you had done, I believe, 1 or 2 sessions with the diversity and inclusion.
I did
track?
a panel with Denise and Dux, and Heather, of course, ran it. And it was good. It was a lot of fun. I found the audience was really engaged. It was good questions. It was good back and forth. We had some pre-canned ones that we were expected, and then we just went off and talked about with the audience about a bunch of different things. I think it's great. I think, becoming an ally in the D&I movement is a journey, and you get better at it every day that you invest in practice. And allyship also implies action, right? And so both of those things together just. That's exactly what you want to track at a conference about, right? It's something you need to learn and something you need to go back and practice and take action. Well, that's what we're all here to do.
Exactly.
And so much of tech is about culture as well, and the culture around implementing a tech. And so I think it fits right in with a conference like this.
Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, I think, it's been well attended. Talking to Caruana, she had a packed session for hers, I believe on day one.
Yeah, she did a couple, I think. It was
she had quite a few. So it's been really cool to see that that's actually been, not only a track, but a well-attended track.
Yeah.
Anybody can create a track. But, it's also good to see that attendees are willing to, walk across that line and actually attend the sessions.
Yeah, totally.
Because, when you're attending those sessions, that means you're sacrificing perhaps a technical learning session that you may have wanted to be in. But
yeah, no, the trade-off is totally worth it. And the folks that I found in the room, it was top of mind for them, whether they were sort of a member of a community actively involved in D&I or just somebody that wanted to be more of an ally or supporter and didn't know how, or wanted to champion it.
So you've obviously had a busy week. You've had the stress of the keynote. Watching your features up on stage and just hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, this was one of the first in the past while I haven't been in the keynote, which felt awesome. I got to tell you, stress of not looking people there, and I tried to help people prepare and write scripts and all that, but it was actually good and refreshing to be able to sort of see it from the front row as opposed
to be able to get to sit back and then you get to watch your feature.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, just less stress of being on stage, but I'll get back to it, I'm sure, pretty soon.
Yeah. So, for our audience, again, this is like the last episode that we're going to do here from the SharePoint conference for our live audience that's watching with us, for the audience that'll watch the on-demand later. Anything top of mind for you? Any parting thoughts that you would want to give our audience before we kind of wrap up SharePoint TV for this week?
I don't know. Build a modern internet.
It's funny too that you choose that particular statement as a parting thought. When I talked to Jeff at the end of day one, one thing I mentioned to him is I was riding the escalator down. There was a group of people riding the escalator up, so this was following the keynote. And one of the individuals on the escalator made the statement that they don't see, and they were probably in consulting just by the way they phrased the statement, but they don't see a reason why anybody would not build their intranet on SharePoint.
Sure.
At this point. So that was just kind of really great statement, particularly coming out of the keynote, because they took some away from that. They've already probably had a belief that SharePoint was the best place, and then we gave them further reasoning to continue to do that.
Well, I hope so. We want modern and SharePoint Online to be ready for any internet in the world. So if it's not, let us know why, and I'd love to get the team working on it, because we're pretty committed to making sure we have a planet scale, planet ready internet product. So.
And then in a few short days, we're going to be pushing a button on Microsoft Search too. And,
that'll be fun.
That's another fun journey.
That was the other booth duty I did. I did Spaces and Search. I really wanted to sort of get immersed in those two areas.
You're going to put me out of business.
Yeah, I guess we're all aligned. Yeah.
But it's really good. It's really good to be able to see that.
Yeah, I mean that was sort of my side quest last year, I suppose. In addition to helping SharePoint in the team, I was part of the V team that ended up with the Microsoft Search product by the end of Result. It started there with a bunch of teams coming together with unique perspectives, and then eventually getting together and figuring out how to have one coherent search product. So it's pretty cool to see to come to fruition.
Yeah, it's actually really cool to see that people are excited when they see their search box move.
Yeah. In the booth duty, there was the search box is sometimes here, sometimes there, and they're looking for, it'll always be up there, up top now.
Usually when you move an element, there's not as much excitement about just moving an element, but now because that's kind of that signal that Microsoft Search, people are actually excited that element has moved across the page.
I was just going to say sometimes it's so hard to communicate what our vision is, especially in product, and so have people understand that. And this art of moving the search box to the same place across the suite signaled A, consistency, and then B, that we believe the search product is ready for being the primary navigation paradigm for finding content, because we put it right up there up top, as opposed to bearing it anybody else we could have. And I mean, it is indeed ready, and I don't know, I think people sort of got that pretty quick. Like I oftentimes to explain fairly nuanced changes we're making to our RA, our IA, our new product strategies from SharePoint, and this one has gone over. This one has clicked in people's head quicker than most. So.
It's great to see.
Yeah.
So we've got build your intranet as a takeaway. Go do it.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Yeah, there we go.
Start searching.
It takes hours, not months.
So start doing that now. And Dan actually showed us a quick home site demo and just how quick it was.
Oh, wow.
And, And
he brought it to this then.
He brought it to this until his Wi-Fi died. But
always blame the Wi-Fi. That's my lesson.
Exactly. So he did a great demo there. But I think the audience kind of took away that people that have been on the SharePoint journey for a long time, it just kind of clicked. Wait a minute, I can build something that beautiful. I don't have to hire a developer. I'm not dropping a clunky WSP somewhere that's going to prevent me from upgrading in 2 years. And it's going to be a 6 to 18 month endeavor just because I want to put my brand color and logo on there, and I want to personalize for the user. So it's really cool to see that this out of the box functionality meets most needs. And then of course it's still flexible too.
I hope so. I keep asking customers, getting some validation. Of course we have customers that need this or that, but a lot of folks have been successful in that. Within just a few weeks or months, they're fully deployed to internet to hundreds of thousands. And I also ask, your latest SharePoint dev hire, how did they have unique SharePoint developer .NET expertise, or do you sort of hire an off-the-shelf web developer? And it's still mixed, but I've talked to several customers who are extending SharePoint in very concrete ways using SharePoint Framework, but they didn't have to have a lot of they didn't have to hire unique SharePoint experts for that. They hired somebody who's just familiar with web tech, and they immediately picked up how to extend SharePoint. So that's the other sort of time to market improvement, I think, with the strategy.
I was looking at the questions too as you were talking. One person asked, "Where's the Site Actions menu now?"
Did it change? Did we hide it?
I don't know. Did we?
You mean the Site Actions where you can get the site settings and site permissions? Should be up in the suite nav under the gear. If that is where most of our settings and site-wide actions would be. Whether that's I used to change with every release. Part of moving to evergreen models, we get to move things around whenever we want, as opposed to a big bang.
I remember when Yammer moved the Change Networks button from the top down to the bottom, and I couldn't find it for the life of me, and I spent weeks in a network that I was just trying to get out of. But
didn't we also used to change the color of site actions? I think it was orange in one release and then blue in the next, if I remember, like 2010 to 2013. But anyways, blast from the past.
So today's the last day of the conference. We're all going to walk away from here. We've got an Ask Me Anything that we're going to do at the end of the day. See what kind of questions that people were able to submit, because we did put out kind of a call for
I pre-read
content.
some of them.
Oh, that's great.
I
didn't.
Yeah, they were pretty good. One person was asking for help on anyways, it was clearly not meant for the Ask Me Anything. It was like registration help. But other than that, there were a very good set of questions.
Hopefully they got registered.
I was going to ask Dan Holm to make sure that they, it was like I guess you get some prize if you go to pre-day or something. You get a gift or something. Anyways, they weren't getting their gift. I felt bad for them, and I hope somebody follows up. But there was also a bunch of great technical questions that we'll dig into.
That's scary now, because I'm worried that in there's people that are like, I'm at the registration at the hotel and my room's not ready.
Not ready. When does this conference start?
So we'll try to answer all the.
That's a sad trombone, right?
You'll hear it.
I really just wanted to push one of the buttons.
Oh well, Jeff pressed them quite a bit. So here we are, last day of the SharePoint conference. We've had Adam Harmetz with us. As Adam said, go build your intranet on SharePoint now, right now. Go to the Ask Me Anything first and build it while you're
watching the Ask Me Anything. If Wi-Fi works.
If Wi-Fi works,
if something doesn't
build
work,
it now.
It's Wi-Fi.
Start searching. If you make a mistake, you can change the name.
Indeed.
So you can fix that, and then you can swapify. Here soon, if you need to do any kind of swapification. I guess we'll just
teamify it.
Don't forget to teamify it as well. And right before we depart, we want to give a shout out to our producer, who should step up, come back here,
she's nodding her head
and wave to the people.
But there must be a ta-da, clap.
And she's saying, no way.
Can we just take the camera maybe and put it over there? Is that a thing we can do? That's not a good look from
That's not a good look.
Let me tell you that.
But she's been gracious all week, dealing with myself and Jeff throughout these interviews, has just done an awesome job, has not made too much fun of me after sticking my laptop in gum twice this week, which is horribly disgusting. And
That's not a way we can end. So you're going to have to think of a better ending than sticking your laptop in gum.
Bubblegum Billy. Yep. So Jeff has got it right. So again, odd ending for the week, but at any rate, thank you so much for joining us.
You're natural, Bill.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for joining us on SharePoint TV, and hope you catch us again soon.
Thank you all.